Hi, it's Douglas Lucky Larson again, and today we are talking about the common clickbait headlines about Americans in record amounts of debt. Now, as a reminder, on this channel, Retire Early and Often, we often talk about creating a lifestyle with the right kinds of assets. Assets that pay you to own them or make your life much better in some way. It's not about how many real estate properties you own or the number of stock shares in your portfolio or the amount of gold or Bitcoin you have, but controlling the right kinds of assets that will create the best lifestyle for you and your family and that will allow you to fulfill a bigger purpose than just accumulating stuff or titles or insincere followers. You have a purpose, and with the right mindset, education, and plan of attack, and some perseverance, you can fulfill that purpose. It's not really about owning stuff because too much stuff will often own you. These headlines recently caught my eye because America is an economy built on debt. Now, that doesn't just include the USA, but also Canada and many Western countries in Europe, certainly Australia as well, and there are many others. We all love our stuff, and when we can't really afford to buy it, there's always equity we can borrow from our houses or credit cards that we can use or financing options available at every car, truck, RV, or boat dealership on approved credit. Even our college educations can be fully funded by debt. Now, I was over $30,000 in debt when I graduated from college, but with a little planning and some sacrifice, I was able to pay it all off in less than 5 years after graduation. And I don't regret taking on those student loans because my education and a good paycheck after graduation led to many bigger and better things, not to mention the opportunity to live and work and buy real estate on Maui for several years in the early 2000s. Now, I do know a lot of young graduates these days, even family members of mine, that maybe didn't choose the best degree. And now debt hangs around their neck like a giant anchor. Now, I see a lot of other bad debt ideas in the form of car loans and credit cards. Many of my tenants actually drive nicer cars and trucks than I do. And that's why they rent from me and cannot afford to buy a home of their own. Seriously, like an $800 a month payment for a nice truck on a 72-month payment plan. That's just crazy. Dumb. Now, as we talk about these headlines, we will also take a reality check as we look at the difference between debt and debt service. There is a big difference, and you can use debt to your advantage, or you can be swallowed by it. Now, on this next page, we'll take a closer look at these headlines, but also some real life data at the bottom, two charts here that this data won't make the headlines because it's not the doomsday narrative that always gets more clicks. So, first of all, let's come over here. Great headline: digging out of consumer debt. Millions of Americans struggle under the weight of personal debt. Dun dun dun. Love this one down here. CNN Business. American households are carrying record amounts of debt as home and auto prices surge. And then it talks about COVID infections, blah, 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 blah. And then household debt climbed to a new record of $15.24 trillion. It was an increase of 1.9, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, we get it. Now, here's a chart that's given in a different article. Driven by mortgages, household debt hits new high. And again, this makes the headlines because it grabs your attention. And you're like, oh my goodness. But when we look down at the charts below, we're going to see that these huge swelling amounts, yes, this whole amount here is bigger than even the great debt crisis that we had back here in '08 and '09. These guys here, what is this? Student loans. The blue one, of course, is mortgage. Home equity lines of credit, those are actually pretty small. That's good. That's a good sign. Auto loans here, that's the green one. Let's see, the yellow one is credit card debt. Overall, this gives you this giant big number here. Wow, and it is record debt. Oh my goodness. But here's what we have to look at. Okay, when we look at this chart down here, when I blow it up, it's a little bit blurry, but you guys can still see it. Okay. Household financial obligations as a percent of disposable personal income. This is important. Household financial obligations. That's everything. All right. That's not just your debt service, mortgage, and student loans, and all of that. That's everything. That's your household obligations. What's that also include? Yeah, food, energy, insurance, taxes. It's everything. Okay, and that's the purple line. Yeah, I covered that up here, but that's this guy right here. And look, in the last while, it's going down. Last 10 years, it's going down. Amazing. Wow, how could that be? I wonder how that could be. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because interest rates are so low and any debt people are carrying, it's actually making the payments go down. Now, another thing is this disposable income. This appears in all of these. Disposable. Come on, let's get real. Does anybody really have disposable income? No. You don't have income that you can simply throw into the garbage disposal. No. We have discretionary income, and I wish they would say that. Disposable. Well, what is that? You're going to throw some money away just because you have a little extra? No. Let's look at the blue line here. Household debt service payments. Okay, this one is actually more important than because it combines the other ones here. More important to look at than the last ones. So this blue line here, take a look at this. And again, you see a trend from 2010 all the way down here. The reason why it is going down is because, once again, mortgage and other interest rates are also going down. Historic lows. We keep hearing about that. And so even though you've got this big fat debt amount right here, wow, and here as well, and all this, again, your payments are going down. Payments is what's important. So that's why we see these numbers drop off. All right, here's another part of the reality check, and I love this. This is something I put in a different video, but the way that they take the Case-Shiller Home Price Index and then adjust it for not only inflation, but also mortgage rates, right? So they're figuring out a payment, okay? This is monthly principal and interest price. This is what you're paying on your mortgage. Now, this isn't all your debt, but much of debt these days is actually going down in monthly debt service because of low interest rates. Okay, so they take a kind of a baseline here, and they just pick this kind of random spot here in the 1990, okay? And then they say, okay, we're just going to take that as a baseline. When it goes above this, wow, we're ugly. So in this area right here, monthly payments were high, principal and interest, very high. There's been a lot of times where your monthly payments, principal and interest on just your housing are above this line, this kind of average random line they chose to go with. But if you take these cities, the ones with the check marks, and you take a look at historically how they've been, well, right now, there's a few cities that are above, and they're a little frightening here. But if you just look at the USA average, that's this blue line right here. Wow, that's way below trend. Again, why is that? It is because interest rates are low, and so your monthly payment for your house, principal and interest, is lower than it has been at much of the last couple decades. Isn't that amazing? That is amazing. So again, we can't just take this giant, chart here and be all frightened and scared. It looks scary. Oh, we're at record highs. But again, if we've got households that really aren't being stretched beyond their means, because this is a percentage, these guys in here, a percentage of your not disposable, but discretionary income, it's really not bad. So people can handle the debt that they have taken on. Now, things can get easily out of whack if people start really tapping into home equity lines of credit and second mortgages, and then go spend it on stupid stuff that doesn't put money back in your pocket. You can get out of hand really quick. If you take out debt to actually pay other debt service, well, then you're about like our federal government. It usually doesn't end well. And you can't print money like they can. All right. Well, I always try to give my viewers something they can actually use to make your life a little better. And Dave Ramsey, if you know who he is, get out of debt no matter what. He would not be happy with my line of reasoning here. But I think his advice is great, especially if you're like one of my tenants and you just can't ever seem to keep your head above water. Build a better budget, get out of debt, absolutely. But many entrepreneurs will tell you that there is such a thing as good debt. Now, I'm not giving you advice. I personally am not borrowing money right now to put it in Bitcoin, even though I do believe that crypto, blockchain, and DeFi are going to be a big part of our futures. I am, however, absolutely borrowing money to buy solid, cash flowing real estate. That's different. It's not a speculation. It's not a dream. It's real, tangible, and guess what? Long-term, low-interest rate debt at 3.5% for an investor loan. Oh, can't beat that. And tenants then pay it off. Tenants pay off the debt. Easiest way to make $1 million? Borrow $1 million, have somebody else pay it back. All right. I would not borrow money to buy an overpriced vehicle right now, unless there was an incredible tax benefit as a part of a business write-off or something, or maybe I just simply could not earn an income without buying this piece of equipment, a vehicle. But generally, no, don't. It really keeps people from buying the other things that would actually put money in their pocket. Now, I would absolutely cut any wasteful spending and use my discretionary, not disposable, income to build at least a few $1,000 cash cushion, right? Whether you choose to keep that in the bank or under your mattress, doesn't matter. A few $1,000 and it'll just give you a little bit of cushion. Then invest over and above that in something I know and really understand. Not the next meme stock or Reddit rave or crazy coin, right? We've seen them. But some people, they do get lucky in the Wall Street casino. But more than that, lose their shorts. Don't be one of those. Once again, I hope you've got some information that you can use in some way to better your situation now and in the future. If you have any specific questions about real estate or investing or getting out of debt or using good debt, please leave a comment below and I'll try to respond. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe and share, and I hope to see you on the next one.